Okay.
We are live, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am C. Vishal Sharma, the moderator of this webinar. We are delighted to welcome you all for this webinar, which is being organized by the Continuing Professional Committee, Education Committee of ICAI. Please block your calendar on Wednesdays and Fridays to get insights into various emerging and high-value technical topics. It is my pleasure to be a moderator for this webinar, and I'm thankful to the CP committee and respected Satish Gupta sir. The webinar is on professional opportunities in cooperatives and RERA, and the second session is on opportunities for CA professionals in Luxembourg. In a short, while we start this webinar, first I would like to apprise you about the CP committee. In today's ever-changing professional scenario worldwide, the biggest challenge the professionals face is how to stay on top of their game while adapting to new requirements and norms. Therefore, it is imperative to aim to be up to date to offer unique guidance, influence others with their innovative approach and expertise. It is also vital to stretch old ideas beyond traditional boundaries to create new perspectives. In this context, continuing professional education facilitates professionals to maintain, improve, broaden their knowledge, skills, and expertise required to achieve their professional goals through webinars, seminars, etc. Today's program is as follows. We have two sessions of each hour, and topics are first professional opportunities in cooperatives and RERA, and the second one is opportunities for CA professionals in Luxembourg. Our eminent speakers will talk about the above mentioned two emerging areas of professional interest. So before we start, I would like to invite Satish Gupta sir for addressing the members. But before that, a brief introduction of Satish Kumar Gupta sir. See, Satish Kumar Gupta ji is presently serving as a chairman of Continuing Professional Education CP Committee of the ICAI. In addition to this role, he is also chairman of Leading Directorate and vice chairman of the Committee for Members in Practice CMP for the current term. He previously served as a council member of ICAI from 2019 to 2022, during which he held key leadership positions including Chairman, Committee on Corporate Social Responsibility, Vice Chairman, Direct Tax Committee, Vice Chairman, Professional Development Committee, PDC, and Vice Chairman, Committee on Management Accounting. A distinguished figure in professional community, CA Satish Gupta ji also served as a president of the Rajasthan Tax Consultant Association, a premier body of tax professionals for a remarkable decade 2013 to 2023. In the past, he held the position of chairman of Jaipur branch of Central India Regional Council of ICAI, during which the branch was honored with the Excellent Branch Award by CIRC, recognizing outstanding performance under his leadership. CA Satish Kumar Gupta ji has been recipient of the several prestigious accolades, including Best Member of the Year 2004 by Rajasthan Tax Consultant Association, Yuva Pratibha Samman, recognizing his contribution and excellence as a young professional in the year 2002. A prolific speaker and writer, Sir has authored numerous papers and delivered insightful lectures at various seminars, residential refreshers course RRCs, and webinars. His area of expertise include income tax assessment and reassessments, surveys and searches under Income Tax Act, soft skills and personal development topics such as goal setting and career planning. With a deep commitment to knowledge dissemination and professional development, CA Satish Kumar Gupta ji continues to inspire and empower professionals across the countries. There is much more about Satish Gupta sir, but as we have time constraint, I invite Satish Gupta sir to please address the members.
Thank you, Vishal. Thanks a lot. My dear advocate and chartered accountant Shilpa Snaggareji from Mumbai, and C. Rashmi Arora ji and C. Anjani Ladia ji, who are Luxembourg-based chartered accountants, but I think they are not present as of now in our box. And Team CP, Team Tech Team, and my dear friends who are attending this webinar in a very large number, welcome to each one of you. Friends, I really admire the dedication you chartered accountants have in attending all these webinars organized by Continuous Professional Education Committee on every Wednesday and Friday on different topics. Thank you very much. Friends, as rightly told by the Vishal, Committee for Continuous Professional Education is hardworking to ensure the quality and availability as far as CP programs are concerned. To ensure the quality, friends, we have done two things. One thing that we have increased the number of webinars from one every week to two every week. And not only number increased, what we have done here, friends, we have incorporated three new topics. One is the industry-specific knowledge and opportunities for the chartered accountants. Another is the opportunities in other countries for chartered accountants. These particular topics are being taken by the industry, our chartered accountants representing industry, and our chartered accountants residing in another countries. And one more important sector which we have taken is the government schemes. Personally, I feel, friends, that there are several opportunities in the government schemes. But since we are not aware of those schemes, we are not opting for those opportunities. So I want that each member at least must aware that what are the opportunities in the government schemes and should take all those calls. And the fourth and the evergreen that we discussed on different topics as we are doing today, that our advocate and turned chartered accountant Shilpa ji is going to take cooperatives, opportunities cooperatives and opportunities RERA. And likewise, as today our Luxembourg chartered accountants are going to take the opportunities for our chartered accountants in Luxembourg. So what I wanted to say, friend, that we are making the CP programs in the way that our members are aware about the opportunities in the profession and they may get those opportunities, they may adopt those opportunities. Availability point, I would like to tell you that we are opening as much as CP chapters, CP circles, CP groups throughout the country. So the last chartered accountant who is residing in the remotest corner of the country get the opportunity to have the CP hours as near as possible to him or her. So this we are doing to ensure the availability. As far as quality is concerned, friends, I would like to tell you one more thing. That CP credit was implemented 20 years back. Just believe 20 years back. And now the time has come when we give the credit of CP hours only on real-time attendance basis. So from this year onwards, we are going to implement real-time attendance CP credit system with the help of technology. So believe me, friends, what is going to happen that if a member attends only 4 hours out of 12 hours program, he or she will get only credit of 4 hours, not of entire 12 hours. This we are thinking to implement from the month of September, hopefully with the new portal. Second thing, friends, which I wanted to talk about this CP, that CP you just understand what is the real requirement of the CP as far as physical CPs are concerned. So you will be, I think most of us know what are the real requirements. I just want to repeat that a member who is not a senior citizen and have COP only is required to do 20 hours physical CP credit programs. Only 20 hours throughout a calendar year. And out of that 20 hours, 4 hours he or she may take by going and visiting the DLH, Digital Learning Hub. So So their meaning thereby that only 16 hours physical programs are to be attended by a member to get the physical CP credit, and that too for a member who has a COP and is less than 60 years of age. So this is not a much requirement to attend the CP program, my dear friend. So I would request you that take it seriously. It is very much. If we are in practice, if we are in the profession of the attestation, and we are attestating the documents which reflect the financial position not only of that corporate or not only of that entity, it reflects the financial position of the country. So I would request each one of you who is attending this webinar that be ensured that you attend 16 hours CP or 20 hours CP in a very serious manner, and so that we may get whatever we want out of this program. Friends, I'm also heading UDIN this year in the council. So I would like to inform to the attending members that we have taken few new initiatives in the UDIN, and I think all will welcome those steps. One is the initiative we have taken in the UDIN is this, that from this year onwards, a member will not be in position to generate UDIN for tax audit if the limit of 60 audits expires, meaning thereby the member would not be in position to generate UDIN for 61st tax audit. Second thing which we have taken, I was hearing several problems of the member that auditee comes to us and change the auditor in the next year, and we are not in position to receive even our fees. So because we don't know the name of the succeeding auditor. Friends, we have addressed this problem, and from this year or onwards, you will be in position to know the name of succeeding auditor where the member has not intimated you about his or her appointment for that auditee which you have audited in the immediately preceding year. So this initiation we have also taken in the UDIN Directorate, and it is going to be implemented from this year onwards. These two things I think you would welcome all. One more thing which I want to talk is the CMP committee, friends, where I am vice chairman, and I would request you, each one of you, that CMP this year has brought several new features, very important new features, and I would discuss only one important course, which is the GST litigation. We are coming up with a 6 days course on the GST litigation. What we want, friends, that each and every member should be aware with the GST litigation. What we personally feel, what we felt at the committee, that next 15 years, at least GST litigation will remain. And it is a very big opportunity for our profession. So we have just formatted a wonderful course, and the faculties have been trained. Faculties are the national level, very renowned faculty. So I would request that you please request your branch head or regional head or CP committee that to organize in your city or the nearby city or the town a course of 6-day course on the GST litigation. So that is my humble request. And one more thing which we are bringing on the CMP, and that is a revamp the practice ki Pathshala. So that is also a course where we will tell you about the newer opportunities and how to get those opportunities if you are practicing chartered accountant. So there are several other things which I wanted to discuss, but I would like to end with this information. If any one of you or your non-chartered accountant wants to go for the civil services, I'm talking about the Indian Administrative Services, your institute is thinking to provide you a mentorship of our chartered accountant, administrative IAS officer, just to tell you what are the challenges, how to get clear that examination. And second thing which we are working on, that we are working that how we can provide the discounted coaching classes for our members who are keen to join the IAS. So with these friends, I think that you would love today's program also, because I know Shilpa ji, I know the Luxembourg is our chartered accountant. They are going to make the total difference as far as your knowledge is concerned in these fields. And you would love to know what are the opportunities in cooperatives and RERA, and what are the opportunities for our members in the Luxembourg. So all the best to you, and thank you very much again for giving me this opportunity to talk with you and to appear in this webinar. Thanks a lot. All the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Over to Vishal.
Vishal, you are on mute. Vishal ji, you are
Vishal,
on
mute.
mute.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. As you rightly said, that the committee is organizing various programs for the benefit of members, and all must take it seriously. Now, over to the first technical session, which is professional opportunities in cooperatives and RERA. So, for first session, we have Advocate CA Shilpa Sinagre from Mumbai. She is a chartered accountant and advocate at Bombay High Court, and has been past RCM of WIC and past treasurer for the ICI for the year 2016 and 17. Practiced as the CA for last 20 years in the field of audit, taxation and bank audits, and housing and multi-state cooperative societies. Registration, handover, takeover from builder, conveyance, redevelopment consultancy, cooperative compliances, advisory and litigation services as a specialization. Practicing into RERA registration, compliances and litigation matters up to appellate tribunal. And also practicing advocate of Bombay High Court, City Civil Court, Consumer Court, Cooperative Court with cooperatives and real estate as a domain field. So I invite Shilpa Sinagre madam to please address the members.
Thank you so much, Vishal ji, for the introduction. CA Satish Gupta ji, Chairman CP Committee, Vice Chairman CA Vishnu Agarwal ji, with whom I had an opportunity to work in council for 3 years, 2016 to 19. Sir, thank you for this wonderful opportunity to connect with the members and to speak on a topic which is, very close to my heart, and which is of a lot of relevance as far as the members are also concerned. And since this is, the sector, this cooperative sector, I would say it's my passion and profession also. So thanks for that wonderful opportunity. And I also would like to, say very hi and all the best to C. Rashmi Arora and C. Anjani Ladia, who will be my co-speakers in the next session. They are going to talk about the opportunities in Luxembourg. So they are going to talk about the global opportunities. So it will be very unfair on my part to talk about the cooperatives only in India. So I will also try to cover, what we as a chartered accountant we can think of, doing in global arena, or how the cooperative is not only restricted to India or Maharashtra or states in India, but it's a global phenomena. That is what I will try to dwell upon in the next 40-45 minutes. Satish sir, it was wonderful to listen to you, your vision, the initiatives of the CP committee and the CMP committee. We recently had been to COE Hyderabad, sir, for CMP committee, real estate 6 days corporate, certificate course we are coming out. So I was one of the participants there as a master trainer. So thank you for updating and on all the initiatives, and it really is worth listening to that. Yeah.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
sir.
Thank you,
And thanks
Shilpa.
for this opportunity as well, sir. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Yeah. So the members,
Sorry,
first
please
of all,
allow me 1 minute. Actually,
Yeah.
I would like to inform that the total registration till now is around 700 members.
that's
Wow,
great.
great. All
That's
the
great.
best.
That's
Okay.
great.
Thank you.
That's
Okay.
great. Yeah. So we will try to give, value added things to all the members. So sincere, thanks to all the participants also for joining in big numbers. That shows that there is a thrust to know more and gain more opportunities or learn more new things as far as the members are concerned. So talking about this cooperatives, basically opportunities in cooperatives and RERA, that is what the topic is given to me. And I would compliment and congratulate CPA committee, because ICA, that is International Cooperative Alliance, which is an international body of the cooperatives. That means the the different countries are the members of this International Cooperative Alliance, which is, taking care of all the initiatives, policy framework, which is the only voice in UN and ILO as far as the cooperatives are concerned. This is the organization. It's a non-profit making organization internationally, where even India is a member country. So why I'm giving you this factual data, because cooperative is not just restricted to the state level or the district level or the village level in India, but it is a global phenomenon, as I said. So this International Cooperative Alliance is an international body of the cooperatives, and India is the member country in that. And if I have to give you the UN, that is United Nations, has declared 2025 as the cooperative year, with a theme that cooperatives build a better world, right? And that is why it makes sense to understand and to know some statistics about the cooperatives. The statistics which is being published by ICA, it talks about that this through cooperatives, that means the sector, cooperative sector, across globe, almost 1 billion members are engaged in cooperatives, and almost 280 million job opportunities are created because of the cooperative sector, right? So if I have to talk about India, we have almost 8.5 lakhs cooperatives and almost 29 crores members who are engaged in the cooperative sector. Now, cooperatives, as I said, it's an international phenomena. So we have the businesses which are run out of India or abroad, which are run successfully on the cooperative model. So we will be discussing about what is cooperative, what is the organization structure, how they function, and then we will also talk about what are the opportunities that you and me as a chartered accountant we have, what are the skill sets that we need, what are the capacity building measures that ICI is trying, to make chartered accountants as a global professionals, and what is that the ICI is supposed to do or is also required to do in this cooperative sector. That is what we are going to discuss in the next 40 minutes. So if I have to give you some success stories across globe, that is the businesses which are run on cooperatives. So one is Mondragon, Spain. That is, it's a cooperative enterprise or the corporation which is into manufacturing, retail, R&D sort of things, and it's like 80,000 employees are there in this corporation, and it is run on cooperatives. This is from Spain. The next we have is Desjardins, that is Canada, which is a financial, services cooperatives, which is from the North America. So almost you can say 7.5 million members are there in this particular corporation or this particular cooperative entity. And then the most famous, as everybody must be knowing, is a Robobank, Netherlands-based bank, which is also running on cooperative. So the point here is cooperative is just not something which is, to be ignored by the chartered accountants like you and me, who are known as a compliance leader. I mean, cooperative is not something which is only few CAs that or few chartered accountants who are practicing in this field, they know. In fact, if you think, day in, day out, we are dealing in cooperatives, or cooperative is very much a part of you. Like when you get up in the morning, you take tea, so that milk, it comes from a dairy cooperative, the sugar comes from a sugar factory, whatever we are wearing, those clothes that comes from the spinning mills, the shopping or the household or the domestic articles or the household stuff that we buy is from a consumer cooperative like Apna Bazaar. And whenever you are having a few bucks extra or money extra lying with you, you have tendency to park those funds somewhere in cooperative banks in India, just to get some 25 or 50 basis points more interest. So cooperative is day in, day out. It's my part of my daily life, and that is why we need to engage and involve ourselves in this. Now, when I started my career as a practicing chartered accountant, I was exposed to this field, and this exposure to this field led me to take this as a practicing area, and that has become my domain field. So if we can take it up as a domain field and can give services to the cooperatives for over 20 years, I think each and every chartered accountant should think it very seriously that what is this cooperative is all about, and whether it has got any relevance to me as a chartered accountant, and whether I can really make any difference in the functioning or the good governance of the cooperatives. That is what everybody has to think of. Now, if I have to give you certain statistics, even as the GDP, the Indian GDP, 3 to 5% of the GDP of India is contributed by the cooperatives, right? So the numbers, whatever numbers I've given you or the statistics I've given you, it shows that cooperative is it's a significant portion that contributes, that comes, or that needs a serious rethink as far as the chartered accountants are concerned, because we people, we this particular fraternity as a chartered accountant, we are not taking up this cooperative sector as a practice field. And I could see only two reasons which come to my mind immediately. One is that when we become a chartered accountant, that means the centralized syllabus basically which we have at ICAI. So I'm not taught much about the cooperatives. What I'm taught about is the multi-state cooperatives, which is a central legislation. I'm not taught about the state acts, okay? And the second thing is, wherever I do my articleship, if my principal is not into the cooperative field, is not practicing, he or she is not practicing. So when I turn to be a chartered accountant, and when I come in the market with a prefix as CA, I will also not have the tendency or willingness, to take up cooperative as the domain field or as the practice area, because I'm not aware what cooperative is totally or at all. I'm clueless, though every chartered accountant may be from Maharashtra, Delhi, every state, we stay in the apartments, we stay in cooperative housing society. So it's like, as I said, it's close to my heart. We stay there. We are sometimes we are managing committee members also in the cooperatives. We are also doing the audit. It's not that chartered accountants are not into this field, but we are mostly into the compliance field, or the compliance officer sort of thing, or the compliance professionals we are basically into as an auditor, or maybe as a tax consultant, but nothing beyond that. So today I would try to give you some other, different perspective to this sector, which needs, involvement and the engagement of young chartered accountants, the females, and even the seniors can, think of having a different vertical or an additional vertical in their already office, set up office, or already if they are into practice for last, let's say 20 years or 25 years, they can seriously think of having a separate vertical in their office with the son or daughter coming up as a chartered accountant, or son-in-law or daughter-in-law being a chartered accountant. So they can definitely think of taking cooperative as a domain field, and they can start practicing in that area. So what is cooperative basically? Let's talk about that now. Cooperative basically, it is like, it's a member driven entities or organization where people come together for some common purpose, okay, and they start the business or the activity. And let me tell you and clarify you that cooperative does not mean they are non-profit organizations. Now, I with due respect to the committee that we have, Committee on Economic and Commercial Laws and HINPIO, the cooperative programs are happening under that particular committee, but cooperative is not a non-profit organization. They are very much a business enterprise. The people here, they come together to earn the profit. The only thing is that it is run on certain cooperative principles. These principles are the global principles. So there are 7 principles of cooperatives on which these entities or these organizations, they are run, and they are there to make the profit. The only thing is, it's like people over the profit. It is not the profit alone. That means profit is not the only motive, but people, like the members who are coming together, or those who are, economically participating in that particular organization, they are the first to be treated, and they are the first, to be on the list as far as the services are concerned. So this is a business enterprise. Cooperative is a business enterprise, not a non-profit organization, and they run on certain principle. That means few people, they come together, each state. And let me tell you one thing again, that in India we have cooperative is a state subject. Now what is cooperative state subject means? That means each and every states in India we have a cooperative law, right? And then the cooperative, so, and it is governed by the registrar. That means the regulator is the registrar, and we have different hierarchy or the dispute resolution mechanism, you can say, in each and every state. So basically it is governed by the or regulated by the registrars. And we in India, we also have one central act, that is multi-state cooperative. So in each state there will be state cooperative law, and accordingly and then there is multi-state cooperative law also, that is multi-state cooperative act 2002, which is a central legislation. That means where the cooperative entity or the business which is expanded its horizon to more than one state. So let's say I have a cooperative bank, a headquarter in Maharashtra and a branch in Gujarat. So I will not be governed by the state law, but I will be governed by the central legislation, that is multi-state cooperative law. And that is how, that means the state cooperatives will come under the state laws as a it comes under, falls under the state list. The multi-state cooperative societies, they fall under the union list, and that is why it is the central ministry who can monitor and garner them or strengthen them. And that is how, as everybody must be knowing, all the participants, that in 2021 the central ministry under the able leadership of PM Modi ji, we have this cooperative ministry which got gazetted or constituted in 2021. And the mission of this ministry is Sahkar se Samriddhi, that means prosperity through cooperative. So if my central government, if my prime minister and his team, they are talking about cooperatives, that means that there is something about this cooperative, something much much more is needed to know and understand to me as a chartered accountant. So what is the role, what is that they're talking about in Sahkar se Samruddhis? They want to unite, they want to bring the database across India of all the cooperatives. They want to strengthen the cooperative movement in India by doing ease of business kind of activities. They want to have the capacity building measures for all the cooperatives which are rooted, grass rooted, even at village and panchayat level, through three-tier system, like packs, like we have primary agricultural cooperative societies, then we have DCCs, district cooperative banks, and then the state cooperative banks, they fund them or finance them. So this three-tier system they want to strengthen. They want to give fillip to the cooperatives through the funding requirement for their businesses to grow through the various organizations like NCCD, that means it's a cooperative funding organization. So the main focus of this ministry is to strengthen the cooperative movement, to bring the capacity measures, to give the trainings to the cooperatives, so that a sustainable growth or the inclusive growth, what we are talking about, or the ministry is talking about, can be dwell upon. So the ministry is talking about cooperatives, and that is why I feel sincerely, if we have a separate cooperative ministry at central level, then even at ICI level we should have a separate standalone committee on cooperatives, which was there earlier. That is what my humble submission and feedback, you can say, as far as the committees are concerned. Now we were talking about the cooperatives. So the people, maybe each state, they specify what is the number of members they can come together. So in Maharashtra, let's say 10 people from different families, they can come together and they can come out with some business model, or they can take some activities as a group, and then there will be a common pool of money. The money will be invested, and then whatever profits or the surplus is there, it will be shared commonly. That is what the whole principle or whole idea of this model. What are the principles on which cooperative works? Cooperative works on 7 principles, which are international principles. As I said, it is given the principles which are guided or amended as and when required is by the ICA, that is International Cooperative Alliance. So the principle are like it's open membership. That means you cannot force anyone to join cooperatives. A person is given a freedom or liberty. If he wants to join, he can join. Otherwise, no. So there is an open membership. Second, it talks about the economic participation. That means once you become a part of the cooperative entity, then you are supposed to economically participate in the activities of the cooperatives of which you become a member. Then it talks about the democratic control. That means it is the members who will be appointing the governing bodies or the managing committees, to deal or in a representative capacity to take care of the activities of that particular organization or the entity. It's a democratic control. Then there is concern about the community. Then so these are the these are the principles on which a cooperative society is evolved, right? Like if you have a cooperative bank, you have a cooperative society, and you have a cooperative bank. So if a cooperative society in India is putting some amount or FDs in cooperative bank, then even in an income tax you are getting 80p2D deduction. So this is concern about the cooperation among the cooperative. That is one of the principles. So one cooperative society trying to give boost to the other cooperative society. So these are the principles, some of the principles, important principles where this cooperative societies are working basically. Now what kind of cooperative societies we have in India? So we have almost 50 plus types of cooperative societies, you can say, in India. So the cooperative societies, when I say, it can be housing, it can be cooperative bank, it can be credit unions, that is credit societies, it is sugar factories. And then we know the international brand Amul. Amul, everybody knows, right? So Amul, what it is, it's a cooperative model. It is Anand Milk Union Limited. So it's a shining international brand of cooperatives represented by India, right? So we are into dairy, we are into fishery, then there are sugar factories, there are spinning mills, ginning mills. So cooperative is like every field. Consumer societies are there, labor societies are there, forest societies are there. So each, you just talk about, there are hospitals on cooperatives which are governed. So you just think about the any activity or any sector, and you will find cooperatives in that, right? So cooperatives, you and me as a chartered accountant, our role, we are going to discuss the role also. So there are 54 types of cooperative societies as I can find. And the structure, if you say, the structure would be at the lower level, you will have all the members who are joining this organization or the business enterprises. Then there will be a governing body of those members to take care of the decisions, to see the overall regulation, monitoring, and the vision and mission of that cooperative to be taken at a next level. So there will be a governing body, and then there will be regulators who will be regulating these cooperative societies. This is the model and structure on which the cooperative societies basically they function. So now, since as I said, it's a business enterprise. So when I say business enterprise, and every cooperative is, for that matter, is a corporate or a body corporate, right? Because you have to become a shareholder, you have to buy some certain shares, and you have to become a shareholder, and you are also eligible for the dividends. So you have to treat this cooperative just like a corporate body. So whatever opportunities you think of in a corporate sector for a corporate client, all those things, all those opportunities are available in cooperatives, right? And let me also tell you something about the 97 constitutional amendment, because these professional opportunities are also linked to that. Now in India, as I said, cooperative is a state subject. That means states can formulate the laws on cooperatives. Multi-states comes under the union list, but in 97, post 97 constitutional amendment, that means in 2011-12, there was a constitutional amendment. Part 9B was added to the constitution with cooperative as a specific topic, right? And then the article 243 ZS to ZT was inserted, which talks about only cooperatives. Article 19(1)(c) makes cooperative formation of cooperatives as a fundamental right. That means anyone, if a group of 10 or 5, depending upon the state laws, they want to come together and form a cooperative, then it's my fundamental right to form the cooperatives, right? So this constitutional amendment, what was the need to have this constitutional amendment? Because as I said, it's a state law, it's a state subject. So each and every state in India was having a state law, but then there was no standardization as such. Like in some states, the audit period was different. In some states, the term of the managing committee was 2 years or 3 years. In some states, it was 5 years. In some states, the annual general meetings of the members used to happen in June, somewhere in July, somewhere in September. There was no professional management as such. The appointment of the auditors, so the independence with which the auditors or the professionals are appointed was not standardized across states. Somewhere the members were appointing the auditors, somewhere the managing committee members or the board was appointing the statutory auditors. So there was no standardization per se in this sector, and that is why a thought process was there, and that is how the constitutional amendment was made. And then few principles or few mandates were given to the states, and the few mandates, as I can say, is like the elections to happen through state cooperative election authority. That means it is the members internally, they cannot go for the elections on their own. It should be through state cooperative election authority. The auditor has to be appointed in a general meeting, annual general meeting only. The auditor who is to be appointed as a statutory auditor should be from the panel maintained by the cooperative department of each state. This is a constitutional mandate. Then there should be 2 women on the board of or the managing committee of every cooperative is a mandate of the constitution, right? Then the way you file returns, annual returns for the corporate entities, here also you are supposed to file the annual return of the auditor and the annual report of activities with the cooperative department. The term of the managing committee across India now is 5 years. This is again constitutional mandate, you know. So and the AGMs, which used to happen on a different dates in different states in India, now in all the states in India, the annual general meetings of the members of the cooperative entity will happen on or before 30th September. So these are the constitutional mandates, and then each and every state was given mandate to change or amend their cooperative laws to make it or to align it with the constitutional amendment, right? Now, why I've given you this background about the constitutional amendment, because this talks about the appointment of the auditor. It talks about who should be the auditor. So if I have to see the opportunities which are there in this cooperatives, as I said, it's a business enterprise. Whatever you are doing, as a chartered accountant in corporate sector, or in you're handling whatever you're handling in the corporate sector, you can handle everything in cooperative sector. And I would say that each and every section in the state laws, individual state law, if you talk about, is an opportunity for the chartered accountants. That means right from the formation or registration of the cooperatives, your presence is needed. Now what is happening as on date is, it's not much chartered accountants who are keen to take this practice. They're not aware, they're not exposed to this field, right? This field is unorganized. This field is, it has utmost importance in as far as the GDP is concerned, as far as the financials are concerned. But this field is unorganized, and that is why it's not, giving proper results. This sector is not, getting catchy to the professionals like you and me, because whenever I talk or whenever I say a cooperative as a word, some negative picture I get in mind. So why this is, because your involvement as a chartered accountant is not there in policy making, guiding, taking the cooperatives, bringing good governance, talking about the internal controls, strengthening the internal controls of the cooperative entities. So your involvement or my involvement as a chartered accountant is highly needed in this sector. Now, what are the opportunity? As I said, each and every section in the state laws will be an opportunity, starting from the registration. So forget about the domain field. So you as a chartered accountant, or me as a practicing advocate and a chartered accountant, the domain field is, of course, we have the audit, taxation. That is my domain field. Nobody will take those assignments from me. So I want chartered accountants to think beyond audit and taxation, because domain field or the traditional practice, everywhere you will get, there are no much competitors for you in that. But you and me as a chartered accountant, we need to think beyond the domain field or beyond traditional practice. That means we need to engage and involve ourselves in the cooperative, where we can nurture the cooperatives, we can guide them, we can do some capacity building measures even for the cooperatives through the value added services I can give. So I want the presence of the chartered accountants, maybe the youngsters, the females, the seniors, to be a value advisor. That means you should be there as an advisors and consultants. That is what is needed in cooperatives more as on date. Considering the numbers as I given you at the initiation of this session, considering the number of cooperatives that we have, considering the members, and these members are vulnerable members. That means agriculture is something which is more in cooperatives. I mean, cooperatives, agricultural societies, PACs, primary agricultural societies. That means grassroots level, village level, you have the cooperative society. So you can understand that how much vulnerable that particular member is. He's not knowing about anything what is happening in his cooperative society where he's a member, and where he is economically participating in the activities of the member. And that is why you and me as compliance leader also comes into picture, and you and me as a professional with ethics, integrity, our role is more. So if I have to talk about the opportunities, as I said, right from the registration of the cooperatives, that means whenever client comes to you, the way you give consultancy, like whether you should have a one person partnership, I mean a company, OPC, or a LLP, or a partnership, or a corporate entity, whether it should be private, whether it should be public, same way, if you should engage yourself in giving consultancy on whether this particular business which my client is having an idea in his mind, whether that can be run on a cooperative model. And this will not be immediately or overnight, will not be an expert in this field. You need to do a lot of research, lot of updated knowledge. You should have technical knowledge of the subject. So unless and until you have technical knowledge of the subject, you will not be able to give proper guidance or value added service to the cooperative client also, or the prospective client also. So the first way of the first opportunity that I can see for the professionals like you and me is registering or formation of the cooperatives at state level. And if it is a multi-state cooperative society, like if the clients, they want to form or they want to have a cooperative society in more than two states, more than one state, I mean the area of operation beyond one state, then it is of course the central registrar that will come into picture. That is multi-state act. So you can also practice in multi-state, where 1800 cooperative societies or the cooperative banks are multi-state cooperative banks. So that is the arena of work which you have. Now formation is one part. Then if you are forming, so for registration, if it's your assignment or if it's your opportunity, deregistration also becomes your opportunity. If mergers, amalgamation, acquisitions, bifurcation, everything is happening in cooperatives as well. The way you are giving hand-holding support to the corporate entity which you are floating, all other activities that flow after the post registration, that will come to you. Like you will be a part of taxation, like income tax, GST, project finance, funding, annual returns, statutory audits, internal audits. Then the cooperatives, they also like digitization of the cooperative. Sarkar se Samruddhi is what they are going to digitize all the packs across India. That means that is one of the opportunity which me as a chartered accountant I have. So I can help the ministry, and maybe I say I can come out with some panel for the digitization process, computerization process, and help the ministry also. So that is something which we can think of. So digitization, you are there. If you're a forensic auditor, so you can give those kind of services also. So audit, taxation, these are my domain field. I can be very much there in this field. What is needed is I want the chartered accountants to get involved in the advisory and consultancy on how to grow, how to do the business, how to grow the business. So those value added services, the consultancy and advisory at each stage, right at the time of the formation, when they are settled in the business, or when they are gearing up for the business, when they are settled in the business, and when they want to grow the business. So in all four stages, you and me as a chartered accountant, we are supposed to get involved, right? So it's not only so think beyond the audit and taxation, because when I talk about the value addition, so if chartered accountant A has to do audit, or if chartered accountant A has to give some tax consultancy, chartered accountant B is also equally competent enough to give the audit or taxation consultancy. But that value addition or the domain expertise, that will come only if you get involved, if you take this as a passionate field, you take interest in this particular sector, you try to learn more and more, gain knowledge more and more, try to understand this sector, and then only you will find that no, boss, this is not something which I need to ignore. The sector is not something which I need to simply let go, that okay kuch hai cooperatives karke. It's not like that. Now if I have to talk about the global opportunities also, all these organizations which I talked about, the Modrecon, the this Jardin, the Robobank, this IFRS, ESG audits, everything is applicable to them also. That means your expertise are needed there also, as a financial advisor, as a tax consultants, as auditors, as compliance officers, so think about all these opportunities. And as I said, each and every step, each and every stage that a cooperative goes through, right from the formation till the registration or deregistration, amalgamation, liquidation of the banks are happening, cooperative banks. So you can be be on the panel, or think of some field or some domain, uh, field, like, or a special field, like you can be arbitrators, you can be liquidators. So you can think of arbitration also as one of the field where not many cooperative banks, they need this arbitration also for their day-to-day workings and the recovery matters. So litigation is something which you will find, because the members are there, as it's a people-centric organization. So you are dealing with the members, and whenever there are people, the litigation has to happen. So litigation practice is something which though it's a cooperative, the word is cooperative, but you will find a lot of non-cooperation within the members, within the members and the governing bodies. So litigation is also something which you can think of. You can think of even the system audits or the forensic audits in this particular cooperative sector. Now, as I said, there are 54 types of societies are there. So you can think of audits in cooperative banks, internal audits, system audits, forensic audits of the cooperative banks, credit societies, salary earner societies, housing society. Housing is, if you talk about India and if you talk about Maharashtra as the major state or a pioneer state of cooperatives, we have 2.30 lakhs cooperative societies in Maharashtra, and 1.25 lakh societies are housing societies. Lot of opportunities are there in housing societies. My special field or my specialized field is housing, cooperative housing societies we are into. So what is that we do? We form the societies. We do, we deal with the builders to get the handover of the accounts and records. Once the members they take possession of their flats, then we take the opportunity, or we do the assignments called as conveyance. That means getting the land title transferred from the landowner and the developers to the in the name of the cooperative housing societies that is being formed. We also dealing in the litigation. We also are into, like, amalgamation of the cooperative housing societies, bifurcation of the housing society. So the point is, me and you as a chartered accountant, we are needed here more, not just as a compliance practitioners or professionals, but value added services and advisory. Because when some cooperative members they come to me, I need to know, first of all, I should have the knowledge of that particular sector. I should have the technical knowledge of that particular subject, and then I should be able to give the advisory and the consultancy more, rather than just telling them that you should be doing this, you should be doing that. So my knowledge and my expertise should help them to get strengthened in the sense they can grow, they can grow their profits, they can grow their surplus, they can really have a complied compliance, very well complied cooperative society. They should be getting a very good rating, because in Maharashtra, even the auditors are supposed to give the ratings or the gradings post audit. So if I have to I should be in a position to advise and give consultancy in such a way that the statutory auditor, if he comes, he will find that the internal controls are all set. That means there is some consultant who is guiding this cooperative society throughout, and then the audit rating of that particular society has upgraded it from D to C, C to B, and B to A. That is what my job is. Now since we are left only with 5 minutes, I would like to share what are the skill sets that you need, to take up this opportunity. So you have opportunities as a traditional domain field, that is audit and taxation, GST, everything in cooperatives. And the The non-traditional is right from formation till amalgamation, mergers, acquisition, litigation, audits, internal audits, forensic audits. Everything is there in state laws and even in multi-state cooperatives law, right? Now, what are the skill sets? Skill set, as I said, you need to be passionate enough about the cooperatives. You should have interest. So that interest can be developed only when you will have social networking. You will talk about the cooperatives. You will learn about the cooperatives. You will research about the cooperatives. Social networking is something, because if you have to practice in cooperatives, you cannot practice all alone. So you should have networking with you. And when I talk about the housing cooperative, so here we have network with the advocates, we have network with the chartered accountants, we have network with the architects, we have network with the city civil engineers, we have network with the city survey officers, So it's a network practice that will grow, give you more leverage, and you will grow, if you are in network. All alone, of course, you cannot practice, right? So the skill sets, that means you need to understand, you need to learn, you need to be updated. You should be a person who loves to engage in communities. Then your communication skills, like if you are in Maharashtra, you should be knowing the local language. So the communication skills also will matter a lot, right? So skill sets, if I have to talk about, then these are the skill sets. And if capacity building measures, if I have to talk about, is like at ICI also, you see how ICI is proactively engaging, chartered accountants by doing a lot of MOUs, cross-border MOUs with different countries. We have chapters across globe. We have our CP committee. They're trying to update you with all the opportunities across various, across border or cross-border opportunities they're talking about. So they are also trying to upskill you, so that you will be in the, and then they're trying to project you as a global professional, right? So try to attend all the seminars, webinars like this, because this knowledge updation has to happen. Then only you will be a better person to know and be in this field, right? Then there are certain accreditation, like if you are CPA or ACCA professionals, IFRS courses, certification courses. If you do, then you can practice even cooperatives. As I said, it's there in globally. There are big organizations, giant organizations running on cooperatives across globe. So if you think of taking those kind of opportunities, if you are looking out of India also, then definitely you can think of, and this certification courses will definitely help. Now, along with cooperatives, we also have RERA, because that is also a topic. RERA is Real Estate Regulation Act. It's RERA basically. RERA is the authority, Real Estate Regulatory Authority. RERA is the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act, which is a central legislation in India. That means it is a welfare legislation which is brought in 2016-17. 1st May 2017 was the first day when it got, all the states, they had their rules. So this is a central legislation. It is a home buyer centric act, where the home buyers, they are cheated by the developers because of the delays, the stuck projects. They take the money, they don't register your agreement. So a lot of issues were faced by the home buyers, and to take care of these home buyers and overall to do the regulation and development of this real estate sector, the RERA Act is being gazetted and is operational from 1st May 2017, जब से हमारा GST is operational, right? Now, you and me as a chartered accountant, we have a lot of many opportunities in this particular act also, because when you are practicing in housing cooperatives in India, so housing and real estate, housing is part of real estate, so it goes hand in hand, and that is why the topic cooperative, opportunities in cooperatives and RERA. So if you see the RERA Act also, there are a lot of opportunities, like you can register the projects for the builders, because project registration is mandatory. Real estate agents are supposed to be registered, and all the stakeholders who are taking care of the project, as a professionals like architects, civil engineers, they are also supposed to get themselves registered in the project whenever the project is registered. So you have the opportunity as a compliance professional for registering the project, of the builders. You have the opportunity with the real estate agents or the property consultants who have to registered on RERA website. Then there are compliance measures, compliances that RERA Act mandates you. You know, compliance as far as the statutory audits are concerned. Each and every project is to be supposed to be statutorily audited by a chartered accountant. So that is an opportunity for me. Then there are certain certificates. Whenever a builder has to withdraw money from the bank account, then certificate of the architect, civil engineer, and a chartered accountant is needed. Then only is allowed to withdraw the money. So this compliance certifications is also something which you can do. And if I talk about refer section 56 of RERA, which talks about who are the authority, who are the professionals who can appear before the authorities with the litigation matter. So the first professional is a chartered accountant, then comes the company secretary, then comes the cost accountant, and then comes the advocate. So RERA is also something which as a youngsters or the females or the seniors, we can take or think of as a practicing area. And I think I have tried to cover, because 45 minutes I was supposed to cover the cooperatives and RERA. Tried to give some input at least to the members, that you should not be ignoring cooperatives. It's very close to my heart, and I'm very passionate about the sector. So try to gear up yourself, try to get involved, engage, lead, and transform this sector. You and me is highly needed in this cooperative sector. Thanks for the opportunity, CP committee. I'll sign off. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. As you rightly said, that very less members are practicing in the field of cooperatives. Rather, members are emphasizing on corporates.
Correct.
But I hope after your webinar, definitely member will move towards the cooperative practice.
Correct.
So we will take some questions if there is any. So the question is related to the RERA, not to the cooperatives.
Yeah.
And the question is by Ruchi Padmaram Chaudhary. How can CA professional build a specialized practice in RERA compliance and project auditing?
See, what I find is normally all the chartered accountants, they have builders as their client. But what we do is basically we just give them the audit and taxation services. We don't think about the non-traditional areas which the builder. So first of all, try to exploit your builder client portfolio. You can tell your builders that we are here and we can do project registration. I can do compliance services. I can do litigation services for you. So this is how you can build. And of course, it's marketing in the sense officially we are not allowed, but it's mouth publicity. And the first client that you handle, that will give you RERA. And as I said, it's a network practice. So try to be in the network practice with the professionals like advocates, civil engineers, architect, and you will be able to gauge or leverage with the RERA practice also.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Today we have very less questions, and also to stay on schedule, we have to skip the questions.
No problem.
So I express my deepest appreciation to Shilpa Sinagra madam for delivering an insightful and engaging presentation on cooperatives, and that will undoubtedly benefit all the participants in their professional endeavors. Thank you very much, ma'am.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So moving forward for our next topic, which is professional opportunities for members in Luxembourg. For which we have a chartered accountant from Luxembourg, CA Rasmi Arora ji and CA Anjani Ladia sir. So before starting the session, I will provide a brief profile of both the speakers for today's session. CA Anjani Ladia sir is a finance and accounting professional having 28 years of experience, mostly in investment management, private equity, real estate industry, with a focus on providing accounting and audit services. He is also the chairman of Luxembourg chapter. He has in-depth experience in working on multinational clients with presence in various jurisdictions. For implementation and reviewing of governance, risk, and internal controls, including business power process reviews. He has a strong strategic, commercial, and value-driven orientation with excellent skills in accounting and audit-related services, whether it is external, internal, or integrated audits. Financial analysis, business planning and development, cost reduction initiatives, business process improvements, and operational synergies. He also worked with the big four accounting firms in various jurisdictions across the world, including London, New York, and India. I welcome you, sir, for today's webinar, and we also have CA Rashmi Arora ji for this session. She is a CA and company secretary and a finance leader with over a decade of international experience spanning Big Four consulting and global corporate finance. She leads strategic finance initiative at very renowned MNC, focusing on supply chain controllership and operational scalability across global markets. She began her career in India with Big Four firms specializing in transfer pricing and later moved to Luxembourg, expanding her cross-border expertise. Her career reflects a strong blend of technical excellence and a strategic insight, consistently adding value in complex, high-impact environments. She also serves as a treasurer of board of ICI Luxembourg chapter, where she plays an active role in fostering a professional network for Indian chartered accountant in Europe. Welcome, madam, and I request you to please take over from there for addressing the members.
Thank you so much, Vishal sir. I will be sharing the screen. Hi everyone, good morning, good evening from wherever you're joining. Moyen, bonjour, it's a pleasure to be here with all of you today to talk about a fascinating and emerging opportunities for Indian chartered accountants working and thriving in Luxembourg. You might have heard of Luxembourg as a small country in Europe, almost a dot on the map. But today I'll show you why it's a giant when it comes to financial services and why Indian CAs have a bright future here. So I have with me Anjani sir, who's the chairman of Indian Chartered Accountants of Luxembourg chapter here. And let's embark on this journey together to discover new horizons. Before diving deep, let me share with you what we will cover in the next 1 hour. So first, I'll introduce you to Luxembourg, where it is, what makes it special, and some fun facts that might surprise you. And followed by the Indian-Luxembourg economical connection. Then we'll explore some specific opportunities for Indian CAs who want to practice independently or join companies there, or what are the skill sets that are required. I'll also talk about the major employers, the type of roles that are available here. And finally, we'll discuss the challenges that you might face, right? It's not an easy path here. There are certain preps that are required to come to Luxembourg for sure. Not too difficult, but yes, something that is very doable and coachable. We'll try to keep it interactive, and I encourage you to ask questions at the end or during the dedicated Q&A session.
Madam, I apologize for cutting in, but this is a one-way session. The participants can join through different links. So it is not possible to interact with members.
Okay, we did have some Slidos, but if it's not possible, then maybe we can cut that back. Any opening remarks from you, Anjani sir?
No, thank you very much. And then thank you to our Alma Mater Institute for giving this opportunity to present Luxembourg to India. So as we said, like, proud chartered accountant living in Luxembourg. And then this is an opportunity for our members to embark on this journey. So thank you once again to the Institute for giving this opportunity to present Luxembourg to you all. Thank you, Rashmi. You can start. Thank you.
Okay, so let's dive deep. Let's start exploring Luxembourg. If you've heard about Luxembourg before, I wouldn't be able to see it, but definitely please type LU in the chat. And since this is not a two-way, so we'll skip the Slido, and then we can continue with what Luxembourg is and where is it. Let's watch a 2-minute video.
158. Présence à vous. Mais en même temps, Claude Fix Sanctuary.
Indeed, that was a short glance about what Luxembourg is, how tiny little country it is. And that's actually what people think when they often picture a small, quiet country tucked away in Europe. And it is small geographically, right? But when it comes to demographics and global presence, in Luxembourg is incredibly dynamic and international. Let me give you a sense of what that looks like. Nearly 47% of the Luxembourg's residents are foreigners. That means 1 in 2 people living here is from outside the country. Most of us are expats. For context, India's foreign-born population is less than 1%. And over 180 nationalities call Luxembourg home. It's super common to hear multiple languages on a single tram ride or in your office. So you're constantly surrounded by global perspective. This weekend is an extra special one because we celebrate the weekend of birthday of our Duke. Yes, actually, Luxembourg is the last Grand Duchy in the whole world. So that means we have Duke and Duchess here. And on 23rd of June, which is the Monday, so we're all in a happy Friday mood because it's the long weekend for all of us here, as it's the birthday of the Duke, which we celebrate every year in that sense. So moving ahead, if you would like to understand how the overall demography of Luxembourg is there, we have around more than 220K professionals crossing the border every day from France, Germany, and Belgium to work in Luxembourg. It's very centrally located. This makes Luxembourg's workforce significantly larger than its resident population. It's a very rare phenomena for such a small country. And the official languages that we normally speak, you would hear French. We have a language called Luxembourgish, it's real, German, and the 4th unofficial language is English. It's widely spoken, especially in finance, audit, and IT. So as an Indian CA, your professional fluency in English is already a key asset if you were thinking to come to Luxembourg. The country's median age is around 39, with strong focus on attracting qualified professionals in finance, law, and technology. So you will find a highly skilled, forward-looking workforce and many young people making their mark. So while Luxembourg may look small on the map, it operates on a global scale, and that's exactly what makes it such a promising opportunity for Indian CAs to grow internationally. One fun fact, since it's so centrally located, you can see on the screen, it's very close to Belgium, Germany, France, also to Switzerland if you would want to drive further. It's quite easy to say that you could have a breakfast in Belgium, lunch in France, and do dinner in Germany and come back to Luxembourg. So it's something that we fairly talk about being international here. But that was just a fun fact. Moving on to the microscopic view of Luxembourg. Now picture this, 500 million people, 27 countries, and one seamless market. Luxembourg is not just landlocked, it's opportunity locked. Here, goods flow without customs or tariffs like rivers across open land. A Luxembourg-made medical device can ship to Paris, Prague, or Porto without hitting a single bureaucratic roadblock. So capital moves just as freely. A startup in Luxembourg can raise funding from Milan, invest in Stockholm, and pay suppliers in Amsterdam without currency confusion or legal tangles. For investors, this means scale from day one. And services, they are borderless too. A fintech app built in Luxembourg can serve clients from Lisbon to Lithuania without setting up 27 different offices. But perhaps the most powerful of all is people. Engineers from Spain, designers from Denmark, developers from Bulgaria, all working side by side in Luxembourg. No visas, no bureaucracy, no red tape, just talent flowing where it's needed. And Luxembourg is one place where you would see a lot of expats from all of these different countries who are living here side by side. So this is the promise of the European single market that we see. And Luxembourg is just your lens into it. It's not a country. It's more like a launch pad. It's a microscope and a megaphone, as I like to call it, mostly. It's very small in size, but it's echoing across a continent of 500 million potential customers. Now let's zoom out from the map and into the marketplace. When you first hear about Luxembourg, you might picture quiet streets, green hills. We just saw that in the videos, maybe a castle or two, actually 7 castles, not to boast, but we do have a lot of castles if you come here. But beneath that calm surface is a roaring engine of global business. And this slide shows you exactly who's driving it. Starting with industry and automotive, right here you have got ArcelorMittal, the world's leading steel and mining company. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, I was there at ArcelorMittal. I'm saying that it's the world's leading steel and mining company. I'm sorry, there's some technical error. I'm not sure what it is. Anyway, moving ahead, we also have Rotarex, which is a global gas controller systems leader, is another example of precision engineering, which meets international compliance. Switching to ICT, media, and e-commerce, and you'll notice some familiar faces: Amazon, PayPal, Microsoft, eBay. These are not just branch offices in Luxembourg. They have their strategic bases for their European operations, data centers, compliance hubs, treasury functions. That means opportunities for most of us in digital finance, tax structuring, and cross-border advisory on a massive scale. Now, zooming on to logistics, we have Kuehne+Nagel, one of the world's top freight forwarders. We have Cargolux, Luxembourg's very own international cargo airline. Global movement of goods means layered regulatory landscapes. And of course, then we come to the financial sector, which is the true heartbeat of Luxembourg. We have all the big fours here. We also have the major banks, BGL, BNP Paribas. We have Deutsche Bank. We have Allen & Overy. So yes, all of the big fours are here, not the satellite offices, but in major hubs, servicing funds, banks, insurance firms, and multinationals across Europe and beyond. So finally, we land onto European institutions. We have European Investment Bank, EIB, as we like to call it, organizations that is shaping policies, data, and finance across the continent. They offer unique roles for finance professionals who want to blend public service without analytical impact. Now, you would think, why do so many multinational companies flock to Luxembourg? That's because it's a mix of political stability. It's an interactive and transparent tax system and strategic access to the entire EU market. Luxembourg offers a highly reputable financial and regulatory framework that meets European standards, making it ideal for funds, banks, and fintech startups. The country's pro-business environment is backed by supportive government policies, making it easy for companies to set up and scale their European operations from here. So what does it mean for all of you? as an Indian chartered accountant, you're not just looking at jobs, you're looking at the strategic roles in companies that impact millions of lives and billions in capital. So it's not just open for business, it's open for you, in fact, right, as I would like to say it. So the last slide showed you who's here. This one shows you how they all work together. Now think of Luxembourg's financial center as a living, breathing ecosystem. Not just a hub, but a finely tuned machine where every part, every profession plays a role in powering Europe's financial future. So let's walk through it piece by piece. At the core, you have the financial institutions, banks, funds, investment firms. They are actually the engine handling trillions in assets and capital flows from all over the world, but they don't run alone. Surrounding them are insurance companies, de-risking everything from a private wealth to cross-border trade in a world of volatility. Insurance professionals ensure resilience. And if you would talk about the CAs, they bring the analytical muscle to design the smart, compliant frameworks. Then come the accountants and auditors, the trust builders, as I call it, which is you. You keep the system clean, compliant, and credible. From fund audits to cross-border tax strategy, your signature is what brings the confidence to global investors. But that's just one circle. Then you'll find fund promoters and lawyers, which are crafting new investment vehicles, advising on legal frameworks, managing funds domiciliation, and governance. We also have the post-trade services, which are critical too, clearing, settlement, custodies. It's where back-end efficiency meets regular precision and where attention to detail isn't a bonus, it's a requirement. There's also a strong focus on R&D and innovation. Fintechs, we have the RegTechs and research institutions, excuse me, which collaborate closely here, especially in the sustainable finance. So for CAs with a tech savvy or curiosity for innovation, this is a very fertile ground. And binding it all together are the chartered accountants or mostly the finance professionals like us, right? So moving ahead, we have another video coming up.
Ever wondered why Luxembourg ranks as one of Europe's leading financial centres? It's our international expertise. Selling funds, managing investments, businesses and family wealth across many countries and continents can be complex. It takes a particular skill to understand the different legal, fiscal and financial implications and requires professionals that can think and act beyond their national borders. This is precisely the skill Luxembourg has to offer. Banks, asset managers, insurance companies and fintechs can benefit from an extensive ecosystem of service providers to support their international business development. The Financial Centre provides a complete range of services and solutions, whether for startups or the world's largest companies. Thanks to a stable and well-regulated environment, a unique toolbox of investment vehicles and the right expertise, Luxembourg helps demanding investors achieve their international ambitions. We are perfectly multilingual, and English is the main business language in financial services. People and companies from all over the world feel at home here. As a recognized EU hub and home of the global fund industry, Luxembourg connects markets in Europe and the world. It gives investors access to global and European equity, as well as sovereign and corporate bonds via its funds, supporting growth in Europe by channeling private equity capital and helping governments and companies across the world raise finance by listing bonds on Luxembourg's stock exchange. That's why the majority of the world's top asset managers are based here. And it's why international banks, insurers, and even fintechs serve EU customers out of Luxembourg. So if you want to connect with investors in markets across Europe and beyond, why look anywhere else?
A very short glance at what Luxembourg offers. But we'll move ahead to discuss about why we are here, to understand why Luxembourg matters for Indian chartered accountants. So we'll start with the relationship between our two countries, not just politically, but economically. Now, Luxembourg is tiny, just over 600,000 people, but don't let its size fool you. It's a financial powerhouse. In fact, as of mid-2022, it ranked 16 in terms of the foreign direct investments into India. That's over $4 billion in capital flowing from Luxembourg into our economy. So what does it tell us? That Luxembourg isn't just investing in companies, it's investing in growth markets, in people, and more importantly, in services. Trade in physical goods between the two countries is relatively modest, around 50 million euros. That's your machinery, metals, and maybe some chemicals. But where things really pick up is in services. India and Luxembourg exchanged over 236 million euros worth of services, and that's nearly 5 times the goods trade. That's exactly where professionals like us, chartered accountants, come into picture. Because these services aren't just for IT or consulting, they include financial services, fund administration, compliance, cross-border taxation, and much more. And as this relationship deepens, so does the need for financial professionals who understand both the sides of the systems. That's the space opening up, and it's where the Indian CAs have a natural edge. Now let's look at where exactly those doors are opening across industries and firms and roles. Luxembourg companies in India, more like the visitors who stick around. Luxembourg isn't just sending money, its companies are embedding themselves right into our soil. Think about giants like ArcelorMittal producing steel, Paul Worth modernizing India's steel plants, and niche players like Rotarex Solutions, Traxys, and Husky, and even Luxembourg's celebrated sparkling wine maison, Bernard Massard. So why does this matter for chartered accountants, right? Because wherever they go, there is a web of financial structures, audit trails, tax compliance needs, treasury management, and so much more. They not only bring investments, but also bring process complexities. And that's our window of opportunity, more or less. Flipping the camera, Indian firms that took a leap into Luxembourg's market. When you think of Indian brands in Luxembourg, the first names that come to mind are TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. We have Infosys, Wipro, all local IT powerhouses. The Luxembourg offices aren't just satellite outposts, they are regional hubs serving Europe's wide clients and handling complex IT projects, systems integration, digital transformation, and consulting. For these firms, Luxembourg offers a strategic gateway to the EU with a stable business climate. It has a multilingual talent and direct links to financial markets. And then we have some niche and advisory enablers. You will also find players like Syncordis, which is a supply chain tech, Damco Solutions, and Quantum Business Advisory, which is QBA. They serve the financial systems, they serve the financial centers and the fintech ecosystems around Luxembourg. And these firms don't just sell services, they embed themselves in fund administration, compliance advisory, and capital market strategies, weaving into the fabric of the local economy. In addition, over 250 Indian firms have tapped Luxembourg's financial market, raising capital, listing the GDRs, which we will talk about later in the session, and even issuing masala bonds via the Luxembourg Stock Exchange. For example, SBI issued $650 million worth of green bonds dually listed on Luxembourg Stock Exchange and India INX. Several PSUs such as NHAI, NTPC, and private firms like HDFC Bank have also issued masala bonds, which were listed in the Luxembourg Stock Exchange, helping deepen the India-Luxembourg capital market links. But all of this and much more will be covered later in the section. Now that we have seen who's doing business across borders, let's talk about where the business action and opportunities are unfolding in Luxembourg and what's really driving the ecosystem. So the first one is the obvious one. It's the financial services. This is the beating heart of Luxembourg's economy. It's not just a financial hub. It's one of the world's largest. It's the second biggest fund center and globally managing trillions in assets, and houses over 130 international banks. So everything here revolves around financial expertise, from fund accounting to cross-border compliance, AML, tax structuring, and increasingly sustainable finance. So for CS, it's like being in the cockpit of global finance. Moving on, we have the FinTech and ICT, which is information and communication technology, the digital side of finance. And then there is a growing ecosystem of blockchain firms, RegTech players, and AI-based financial tools. This is where Indian IT firms like Infosys and Tech Mahindra have already set up a shop, and where finance professionals with the digital mindsets are in huge demand. So if you're a CA who understands both finance and tech, digital audit, cybersecurity, automation, you're walking into the market that practically needs you. Zooming into the startups and entrepreneurship, you might not expect this from a small European country, but Luxembourg has one of the most vibrant startup scenes in the region. From health tech to clean tech to even space mining, Luxembourg has a space program, yes. Innovation is everywhere. And what do these startups need? So mostly financial strategy, funding models, valuation, investor reporting. So if you ever wanted to work closely with the founders, this is a very fertile ground, as I've said before. So finally, trade and investment. Luxembourg is small, but it has direct links to France, Germany, Belgium, which have a very sophisticated logistics network. And so that means opportunities in customs duty planning, international tax, transfer pricing, and supply chain finance. Okay, let's now deep dive into the real engine behind Luxembourg's global reputation, which is its financial center. What's fascinating is how such a small country has built a financial ecosystem that punches well above its weight. And the beauty of it, it's not dominated by one type of activity, it's diverse. So we start with investment funds because that's where Luxembourg is truly world-class. If you've ever bought into a global mutual fund or a cross-border investment product, there's a decent chance it was structured in Luxembourg. But it's not about the size, it's about the reach. Luxembourg's funds are designed to move across borders, which means they need to meet the highest standards, regulatory, tax compliance across multiple jurisdictions. That's where we have the banking also, which is no less global. Imagine walking into a business district where you see 136 banks and they are from 29 different countries. So it's very international here. Talking about insurance, probably it's one of the least talked about, yes, yet most strategic parts of Luxembourg ecosystem. Because of how EU regulations work, insurance companies in Luxembourg can operate across the entire European Union with just one license. That's a big deal. You've got dozens of insurers and hundreds of reinsurance companies using Luxembourg as a base for their pan-European strategy, and they all need people who can speak both the language of finance and language of regulation. And finally, the capital markets. Luxembourg is home to one of the most internationally oriented stock exchanges in the world. In fact, many of the masala bonds and green bonds issued by Indian companies, they've come right through here. Now, if you're wondering, sure, it's active, but how does it actually compare globally? So then let me give you the real picture. In the world of cross-border investment funds, Luxembourg is an undisputed leader in Europe and second only to US globally. That's massive. 62% of all cross-border funds, they are domiciled here. And so on the banking side, the story, it actually continues. The system isn't just large, it's resilient. Banks here are well capitalized and diversified. The insurance sector too, this shows cross-border mindset. And in capital markets, again, Luxembourg might not scream for attention, but the numbers speak volumes. 35,000 plus securities listed, 7 trillion euros in assets held, and world's first dedicated exchange for green bonds. It's actually here. So that's actually a lot of information to digest it to. But so far, we've also seen Luxembourg's strength in traditional finance. But what makes this tiny country truly exceptional is how it's thinking ahead. Beyond banking and funds, Luxembourg has positioned itself as a launchpad for the future of finance. quietly and strategically expanding into 4 powerful growth areas: renminbi business, sustainable finance, fintech, and Islamic finances are just one of the other activities that we do here. Let's start in the east with China. You might be surprised to know that Luxembourg is the top renminbi hub in the Eurozone. It's where the Chinese and European financial flows meet, clearing the RMB trades, listing dim sum bonds, and hosting Chinese banks. For Indian professionals, this means opportunities in cross-border structuring, currency risk advisory, and understanding how Asia and Europe financially interact. And we also have the sustainable finance here. The country is not just talking green, it acts green. It's home to world's first green exchange and channels billions into funds that fight climate change, support social equity, and promote ethical governance. We have a growing demand for skills in ESG reporting, impact assessment, and green fund accounting and auditing. From green to digital, we also see Luxembourg becoming a fintech powerhouse. The startups, they are collaborating with most of the regulators here, and the government, it's actually supporting actively the innovation from blockchain-based fund distribution to AI-powered compliance tools. And it's something that we have seen a major shift in the growth for the AI-powered compliance tools as well. But we also have a digital transformation, RegTech, crypto auditing, and more. Sorry, and there's Islamic finance as well, which is another niche where Luxembourg quietly leads with the Sharia-compliant investment funds, sukuk listings, and tailored legal framework. It's a growing market for ethical, values-based finance overall. Moving ahead, we have so far looked at Luxembourg's strength in traditional finance, what's coming ahead, funds, banking, insurance. But what makes Luxembourg especially relevant today is how it's integrating technology into its ecosystem. So fintech isn't something that's happening on the sidelines here. It's being built into the system. And it's also across the board. So you'll see activity in all the usual areas. Digital payments like DigiCash are well established. They've made day-to-day banking and in transactions faster and more seamless. We have Payconic here. In big data and AI, companies like TalkWalkers are helping financial institutions make faster decisions. There's also a growing number of startups in areas like InsurTech, who are streamlining how policies are priced, underwritten, and managed digitally. We have cybersecurity building tools to protect financial data and transactions, FundTech, which is automating everything from NAV calculations to investor reporting. Blockchain and digital assets, where Luxembourg is taking a serious regulated approach. We also have RegTech, tools to help companies meet reporting obligations efficiently. And this is practical problem-solving fintech ecosystem. It's not hype-driven. It's actually linked to the financial infrastructure, which is already there in place. Breaking down now, what are these technology actually doing and why this matters for professionals like us? Compliance and risk management, many of these platforms are built to make regulatory compliance faster and more accurate. For example, by automating AML checks or real-time transaction monitoring, as CAs, we need to understand these frameworks. So we are part of how these systems are designed or reviewed. We have blockchain and smart contracts. It's not just crypto. Some funds and banks are testing how smart contracts can automate settlement or reduce paperwork in custody and asset servicing. Security and authentication. Well, in a market like Luxembourg, where financial data is a national asset, tools for multi-layered security and secure identity verification are growing fast. We also have the automated investment services, robo-advisors, and AI-driven platforms are being built to serve retail and institutional clients. They still need the same back-end controls, reporting, audit trails, and regulatory clarity. We have the big data analytics, where it's for ESG analysis, credit scoring, or even investment selection. Data models are being built with inputs from both developers and financial experts. Then finally, we have mobile and e-payments, which is not just P2P apps, but also B2B platforms handling cross-border payments, invoicing, real-time currency conversion. But at the same time, there is a lot of R&D happening, and this is not just private sector driven. We have research bodies like University of Luxembourg, LIST, S&T, which are heavily involved in developing tech infrastructure. There is a core focus on things like secure data transmission, blockchain compliance, models, privacy tools, which are increasingly relevant to how financial systems will operate going forward. So we have seen that fintech in Luxembourg isn't just an idea. It's already here across payments, compliance, AI, blockchain, and more. But the question is, how is this all innovation actually getting off the ground? Who is backing these startups, and why is this relevant for finance professionals like us? The answer is actually in the Luxembourg startup support system. We have a very deliberate and very well-structured startup support system. It's not just the private accelerators or university spin-offs. The entire ecosystem, from government to finance to research, is set up to help early-stage companies grow. Starting with the physical spaces where startups are born and scaled, we have the House of Startups, which is backed by the Chamber of Commerce, which it offers space and networking and direct access to mentors and industry experts. We have the LHOFT, the Luxembourg House of Financial Technology. It connects startups with banks, regulators, and investors. This is actually where the blockchain startup might sit next to a fund management firm and co-develop solutions. Then we have Nuco and Technoport, which focus more on broadly entrepreneurship, including early incubation and support for founders with limited resources. And then you have Lux Innovation, which is more policy-driven, helping both startups and established firms navigate funding, IP, and R&D strategy. And this is backed by serious funding. So private investors are active, especially in the fintech and deep tech, but what's unique is the amount of public spending available to startups here. We have the government agencies like the SNCI, Society Nationale, the credit, the investment, back initiatives like the Luxembourg Future Funds, which has over 150 million euros in capital to support innovative startups. Then there is also Digital Tech Fund, which is supported by the Ministry of Economy, and it's focused on the early stage ICT startups, including areas like cybersecurities, AI, cloud computing, and data services. So all of it is happening in this small but a giant powerhouse of Luxembourg. And with the support system in place, Luxembourg has really become an attractive location, not just to work in a startup, but actually to build a startup here. But so this is an interesting one, right? As chartered accountants, we are already familiar with fund structures. We have LLPs and private equity models. But actually what Luxembourg offers is more global, flexible, and investor-friendly toolbox. So let me walk you through it with comparisons to what you already know. We have UCITS. Think of UCITS as a European SEBI-approved mutual fund, right? But with a passport. It's a highly regulated, just like India's mutual funds, but we have a difference. UCITS funds can be sold across all of Europe and many countries in Asia, Latin America, and even in India. For you, this means working with cross-border compliance, multiple currencies, and global investor standards, something that India's domestic funds don't yet offer. Then we have SIFs, which is the Specialized Investment Fund, which is comparable to the AIFs in India. And the SIFs are actually similar to Category 2 or Category 3 of AIFs in India, which are used by HNIs or institutions for hedge funds, real estate, or debt instruments. But they're even more flexible in terms of what they can invest in. And they also offer a light touch regulation as long as investors are professionals. So your role here involves risk monitoring. We have some investment restrictions here. Then we have CCAR, which is a risk capital vehicle. We could compare it to the Indian venture capital funds. CCARs are built specifically for private equity and venture capital, similar to India's VCs funds under AIFs. But unlike Indian models, CCARs are tax efficient with a single layer of taxation and no dividend tax under certain conditions. They are ideal for growth stage investing, and we can help with exit strategies, performance-based returns, etc. We also have RAIFs, Reserved Alternative Investment Funds, which is like a Category 2 AIF with a twist. Then we do have limited partnerships. It is a familiar structure, right? We have global flexibility versus LLPs. They're widely used for private equity, venture capital, and real estate, and can be set up with full tax transparency. We have some securitization vehicles, which are making assets investable. India also has some securitization, which is mostly limited to NBFCs and banks, but Luxembourg takes it further. Companies, real estate groups, even startups use securitization vehicles to raise capital. Family wealth management, we have beyond Indian HUF, we have family offices, holding structures, private wealth vehicles, which are designed for international families with global assets. So there's so much more to discuss on that, but right now I would like to hand this over to Anjani sir, who will actually take you deeper into the Luxembourg capital markets and stock exchange, and how Indian professionals are actually already making their mark here, and what actually we can do as Indian chartered accountants to make a mark here. So over to you, Anjani sir.
Rashmi, thank you so much for covering up and then deep diving on the certain aspects. So in lieu of time, I will try to do as much as justice to what you have done, but we'll see how much we can cover up. Our organizers, our CP Institute has given us 1 hour, so let's see if we can fast forward. But before that, to start in, we'll play up a video to know about our capital markets and stock exchange.
What is Luxembourg's role within global capital markets? What is it about the country's financial services ecosystem that has global issuers and investors relying on it for their international capital markets activities? Luxembourg's legal framework is at the heart of this. It allows for a wide range of operations and transactions, taking into account local, European, and global market dynamics. This has led to the Grand Duchy emerging as a leading securitization hub, and Luxembourg law being increasingly used to govern international capital market financing. Home to Europe's leading stock exchange for international debt listings, as well as the world's first platform dedicated to sustainable securities, Luxembourg offers international firms, supranational organizations, and governments the ideal platform to finance their projects. Innovation is also at the core of our DNA, whether it be the issuance of DLT native securities all the way through to the tokenization of real-world assets. Luxembourg is embracing solutions that are shaping the capital markets of tomorrow. Our expertise has been built up over many decades, from setup to primary market activity all the way to post-trade. Luxembourg's capital markets ecosystem includes a broad choice of financing vehicles, as well as specialists to advise on the best structures and terms. This makes it the perfect springboard for global capital markets activities. Luxembourg, helping finance go global.
Great. Thank you. We as a chartered accountants, we all know, right, like what capital markets is, like the shares, the listing, the bonds, and the whole ecosystem about the stock exchanges. We will try to touch base a little bit about this in a few minutes, but I wanted to make use of this session to see what opportunities we as a chartered accountants can tap up in this part of this world. So as Rashmi has been already guiding up on the the powerhouse of Luxembourg, I would give up a more intrinsic insight that where we as chartered accountants between India and Luxembourg can work in the form of sourcing matters, in the co-sourcing, the resource sharing basis. We saw that there are service provider firms, big fours in here. The Indian firms, they send up their intellect talents to Luxembourg to provide their services in the digitech, in the fintech industry, like into the international taxation, the transfer pricing. We fellow chartered accountants are always considered as an accountant, but also as tax experts. So if anybody of you guys are already dealing in the international taxation transfer pricing with your clients who are present across the globe, Luxembourg is no different than any of those as well. So tax part, but what is the core is the reporting. While the regulation and the compliances are so much important, and in one of the previous videos or the slides, you must have seen that Luxembourg is a triple A rated country. Like where the compliances are very important and being monitored through a regulator called CSSF, which is the Commercial Sector de Financier, means the financial services, financial sector. It's very heavily regulated, but the equivalence, I would call it as an RBI or SEBI of India. And with that, it requires a lot of reporting of the companies into the international gaps called of IFRS or US GAAP, which we are Indian Chartered Accountants are very well versed with it. So with that said, like these opportunities does place us to give us certain service offerings that we could provide to the corporates and to the fund industry in here. But what is very important is the EU institutions. Their Luxembourg is always looking at for the high, like intellect professionals, and EU institutions are not behind it. They do a lot of tendering initiatives because since it's a government body, like of all the EU nations, they need resources for their audits, for their reviews, for their advisory, for their services which they develop for all the European countries, but setting it up from here in Luxembourg. So this way, we say that there could be an opportunities coming up for us in servicing in this whole ecosystem of Luxembourg corporates and in the fund industry. Moving on, how to how we can help in these areas. You would see that our expanding of our businesses from our fellow chartered accountants could be is by setting up their presence or collaborating with the member firms in here. Like recently, there has been a lot of push by our government to make India's own big fours. And this could be the opportunity for you guys, who are currently working in India to find out an opportunities here in the form of certain services which are listed down on this slides, which could be in the form of company setups, like into the back office services, into taxation services, whether it's related to the advisory or the compliance part. All these ones can be helped us by our fellow chartered accountants, which is why I'll tell you, like we are 140 chartered accountants working, Indian chartered accountants working in Luxembourg in various corporates, in whether they are in the big fours or in other private industries. Apart from the chartered accountants, there are a lot of commerce graduates and the commerce professionals, MBA finances from Indian origin who comes in here and then helps us into the different parts of the service offerings of what Luxembourg has to do for its companies. So I'll move on in the lieu of time. So how do you tap these opportunities while we are here? Our chapter is in here, but Luxembourg could be also like they can be taken up with the help of our global network or with any other client targets which are presented in here. We saw the certain slides before like who are in here, but if your client is currently doing any business, that could be the first gateway for you to understand then how to reach out to them and then find an opportunity. But while there are various like trade missions, trade opportunities, business service opportunities that we could also guide to our fellow chartered accountants in if you guys will have a certain questions. How to go there, how to find it. I'll go to the next slide, which is giving up certain link and the certain places where you could explore and then find out. But the first one is definitely the Luxembourg's official website, which is luxembourgpublic.lu. But we also have our High Commission, the India's Trade and Service Missions in Brussels. The embassy in Belgium is also the embassy of Luxembourg as well. Whereas our Luxembourg embassy in India, which has a trade and economic arm, and would help us to find out the first, link towards the various opportunity uh, that could be explored. So again, I'll rush a little bit more, but these slides and presentation will be available to you all. And Rashmi, I just want to go into the back slide before of the very important one. Please take that note of it. There's a Luxembourg embassy sitting in New Delhi, but we have 4 honorary consul generals, like in Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai, and Kolkata. That could be reached out if you would have any kind of a question, and they will be very welcoming to answer to your questions while we are here to guide you anything that comes into the future. So, moving up in here, we would like to play a small video just to give you the perspective of how the Luxembourg has been very adaptive to the Indians and to the corporates. For this, we would play up a video of Navdeep Singh, an Indian origin. He is now an ex-CEO, but he was the CEO of Talkwalker when this video was shot. But now the Talkwalker and Luxembourg only unicorn, which was sold out to a Canadian company. But let's look deep about what he has to say.
Hi, my name is Luxembourg Singh. I am the CEO of a local, global, and very proudly Luxembourgish company called Talkwalker. Like many expats, I came here with my family, with 2 sons and a wife, 10 years ago, and decided to stay on. We are now the proud owners of the local Luxembourgish passport, and this is our home. So there are 2 aspects why I really, really love Luxembourg. At a personal level, I believe this is a place, the best place, in fact, to grow a young family. It's a place where kids can be kids. It offers a lot of safety, good infrastructure, high quality of life. Then on the professional side, it's a place that I believe offers a very competitive marketplace for businesses to grow in, access to single market, access to a diverse set of talents, and opportunity to do anything you want to do as an entrepreneur and as a businessman. Luxembourg is a place which for a business is, as a market, small enough that you can test ideas very, very quickly as a startup, for example. But then because of the access to the European market, the single market, you can also then scale it very, very quickly. And you have all the right infrastructure in place in terms of Lux Innovation and various other institutions to help you do exactly that. Luxembourg's charm, I think, is a combination of many, many things. In my opinion, it's a very unique and somewhat intoxicating mix of the old and the new, the modern and the traditional at the same time. And then to add to that is this beautiful, beautiful nature that we see around us, is the reason why and my family love living in Luxembourg. If I were to pick one thing, I would say it's the international aspect, the cosmopolitan aspect of Luxembourg that we really, really love.
I would like to ask a quick question to the organizers. Can we continue for 10 more minutes, such Vishalji, like, is it
For
okay
sure,
to?
for sure, sir, for sure.
Yes, for sure, sir.
Okay.
It's okay.
Perfect. Thank you. So 6 reasons to choose Luxembourg. Lokdeep talked about it, his personal reasons, but the political stability, the international openness, and the business-friendly administrative and tax framework gives a lot of opportunities in the companies to come in and set up their offices and their work in this small country of Luxembourg. Moving ahead, I think this would be the most important aspect for our audience today, because I know we are the fellow chartered accountants, so you would want to know more about like what is it for us in here. So let's deep dive in the profession in Luxembourg. We Indian chartered accountants, are governed by our institute, which is the ICAI. But here in Luxembourg, there are two professional bodies. One is Institute of Revisier d'Entreprise, like if you translate that into English, it's called Institute of Registered Auditors. And the OEC, which is the Ordre des Experts Comptables, that's these both are the French words, but again, literally translating into OEC is like Order of Chartered Accountants means what we chartered accountants are. Why two bodies here? Here we say that you have to be, you could be a chartered accountant, but also a statutory auditor. Because since we are dealing with investment funds, investment money, like a lot of like money flowing into it. So we have divided our profession into two aspects regulated by two different bodies. You could do everything. If you are a member of RERA, means you could do the audits and the accounting and the advisory, everything when you are a part of an RERA body, because which is the highest qualification. But if you don't pass that one, let's say the second level called of OEC, which is Order des Experts, which is a chartered accountant, there you could do all the stuff except the audit part, So you could do the review engagement, you could do the attestations, you could do the certifications, you could domicile, you could set up the companies, you could do the tax advisory. All these things could be happening in the OEC, which is as a chartered accounting profession, but you cannot do the statutory audit, which is required as per the company law. Like there are certain criterias of the mandatory audits, but some things are the legal audits, some things are, compliance audits. Those will require to be as an independent auditor of Institute of RERA. So both were established there. You could see that there are around like 500 people who are the statutory auditors, but there are more than 1,000 plus, like national OEC. I am an OEC, I am also a Luxembourg chartered accountant, which I completed my qualification in 2019. So if somebody of you guys would want to pursue OEC and then move as you're practicing in here, I will always be happy to give you my insights about my journey. But moving ahead on this slide, as I was telling you, like this is two bodies, where our one thing is bad, which is again not bad, but which is safeguarded by Luxembourg professional body, is that our qualification of ICAI chartered accountants is not recognized here. So you have to do the full course for passing the exam. So which our institute and us as a chapter are trying to work towards to see if our qualifications could be recognized. But as of now, it's not there. There is no MOU signed between both of us. So if you have to pass, you become a Luxembourg chartered accountant, you have to pass all the exams and through the whole university course or and then complete and then take up your degree. There is a requirement of internships, but our experiences can be counted for that. But there is no shortcut for passing up the exam, and none of our syllabus, what we have studied before, contemplates to take that. So, but if any more questions that you guys would have, we'll be able to take it, but also reach out to us if any of this professional qualification excites you. Moving up to the next slide. Again, some more information behind this, which we will skip, but we'll be able to cover up next time as such later on. As chartered accountants, we are always talking about the companies like corporates, right? And the taxation aspect of it. So let's go a little bit more touch up on the certain, tax matters between India and Luxembourg. We do have a DTAA. So India's double taxation avoidance agreement is in place. So depending upon the type of income and what is being generated, and then what is the corporate taxes, we were we could use our DTAA requirements. If it's an Indian corporate versus setting it up in Luxembourg, or in Luxembourg corporate setting up in India, they would be benefiting the aspects of the DTA. It's a very strong DTA what we have between India and Luxembourg, but it will be going for a revision soon because a new FTA, the free trade agreement, is being signed between India and Europe very soon. Like you must have seen the news around it, where our current Commerce Minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, CA Piyush Goyal, was in Europe and then talking about the negotiations for it. So this will all help us, as chartered accountant, provide those services into it for our DTA perspective. So capital gains, or something. But as I said, like we wanted to also compare it to the Netherlands, which is also a trading and a services partner for it. But still, you will see that you choose by closed eyes, depending upon how your clients would want to set up their companies, whether in Netherlands or in Luxembourg. Both jurisdictions could be the favorable jurisdictions for your clients to set up and then provide the services. I'll skip through certain things, but I will the slides and these map will be available to you, and then we can talk more about it. There is concepts of BEPS, base erosion, profit sharing, beneficial ownership, single unity taxation, holdco, Luxco structures. Like we all know about all these like structuring aspects, but like this is why Luxembourg, like why these companies are in here. It is called a tax haven, Luxembourg, but it's a tax haven, and the only tax haven which is a AAA rated within the part of EU, mainly landlocked, and the EU directives are available. Still, it's not Cayman or a Guernsey or Jersey, but it's still a Luxembourg. More than 98 double taxation treaties Luxembourg holds between the various countries. So it could be a US investor having a UK fund, investing through with an operating company in Japan, investment there. But the entity, a holding company, could be in Luxembourg. Why? Because of the double taxation avoidance treatments. And it only taxed at in one time in the hands of the investor. So it's an investment hub for us to generate wealth and income. And this is where all these structuring aspects happens in Luxembourg as such. So moving on a little bit, what other major Indian companies do. Rashmi had touched upon a little bit on it, but we'll see like the capital markets, right? The Luxembourg Stock Exchange raising funds. So Indians is needed. The Indian companies need funds. So, and they do it through our bond issuance, through the Luxembourg Stock Exchange. And Rashmi was talking about the masala bonds, like when the ADRs and the GDRs would be issued, like when they were our Indian companies were raising these American depository receipts or global depository receipts from US or from the North American market, they were also raising bonds from Luxembourg Stock Exchange, and they were called masala bonds, right? So going to the next slide, you will see like who has raised those capital. IDBI, was the first one to take the funding from Luxembourg. So Reliance, Adani's, right, banks, Larsen Toubros, everyone, the top of 50 market, like what we call as, like the top of NSE big companies in India have their presence by issuing their bonds here from Luxembourg market. Power Finance Corporation is the new one entrant who had taken up the green bond. They were the first movers to use our green exchange to raise their green bonds for their sustainable projects in India. And that was followed up by Adani Green, who has raised it. It was followed up by Greenco, a South Indian based promoter-led group, who has raised a certain green bond, and Luxembourg is getting more and more popular these days. Still, our Luxembourg is not known to many corporates in India. They go to Singapore to raise their bonds because of the vicinity and also because of the language, and a little bit of relaxed regulatory environment in Singapore. But if you would want to come to Europe with as what all the fun facts and the real facts of what Rashmi has mentioned before, I think Luxembourg would be the good place for your clients and things to raise their finances from this part of the world. Moving ahead, uh, just you see like all our integrated players, with the law firms, with the investors, with the regulator, issuers, everything is all it's linked and intertwined between Luxembourg Stock Exchange as one kind of platform. Luxembourg Green Exchange, we have a presentation about more about our Luxembourg Stock Exchange and capital markets. We will share this with the institute to be forwarded to you. But again, we are also available to answer any questions later on in this session or afterwards when we come back. If you have any questions afterwards, please don't hesitate to reach out. So moving forward, continuing the journey, just a link here. There is a vibrant student community here. A lot of researchers, postdocs, they come in to continue their post education in here. We could talk more in the future sessions, but let's move on in here. We have a lot of social contributions towards up from in here from Luxembourg. There are a lot of NGOs, Luxembourg NGOs, who support India for their social projects, including the NEEB fund, like of India, which is SPI backed, like they raise capital from Luxembourg's and with a joint public-private partnership to support India's ecosystem as well. So with said that, we would like to wrap up our presentation with a video. Thank you, Rashmi. Over to you.
Well, that's pretty much about it. I think you've summed up all the opportunities that we have for Luxembourg, for chartered accountants here. But I know we are way over time, but I am thanking everyone who has stayed back. Thank you so much for your evening. Thank you so much for listening to us. I hope it was a useful session. And back to you, Vishal sir.
Thank you very much, Rashmi Arora madam and Anjali Ladia sir. This has been truly an insightful session offering great clarity for prospect of chartered accountants in Luxembourg. I am sure many of members are now even more motivated and eager to explore opportunities in Luxembourg. And this is, I must say, the benefit of last session. Then we may stretch it a little bit. So great to have your session. We now have to take some queries from the members. So two members are asking that whether we require some more certification on qualification course for practicing in Luxembourg. So definitely you already have answered in that the chartered accountant degree is not viable in Luxembourg and we have to take degree in Luxembourg itself. So there is one member sir asking that what role a chartered accountant can easily explore in Luxembourg locally.
Thank you, Shaltar. Rashmi, is it okay if I take that both the questions here?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So, as we said, like definitely, like our CA qualification is not directly recognized for practicing here in Luxembourg, right? That's what I said. Like you need to have, if you want to set up your own practice, you need to pass the local exam and get the local membership. But our qualification is very widely recognized. We are one of the very strong intellect professionals, accountants and the auditors in this world here. And not only the CAs, there are a lot of Indian ACCAs. There are a lot of Indian CPAs who are servicing the Luxembourg community through the big fours, through the service providers in the form of fund administrators, which are the big names. I would give you the names of State Streets, JP Morgans, they are BNP Paribas Fund Services. Since Luxembourg is all financial services, there is a big ecosystem of service providers behind it. And that's where we, as a finance professionals, come in as a kind of inter-firm movement, or even the direct hiring for them to join these financial services of administrator firms or the big fours who employ and then who take up our qualification at par or with any other international qualifications, and then very well regarded. So as I was telling you that we are 140 plus chartered accountants, but only one in practice, that's myself, but the other 139 plus are in jobs. Rashmi is in one of the big corporates. She'll talk about Amazon. Amazon employs more than 6,000 people here in Luxembourg. The biggest employer now is Amazon. And we have so many finance professionals, and she would talk more about this opportunity, like what Amazon and the other companies can do to provide you all. But ArcelorMittal, backed by Mr. Mittal, an Indian entrepreneur in here, most of the CFO roles, most of the corporate reporting roles, most of the the finance roles of ArcelorMittal, if it's an Indian, he's a chartered accountant there, so they have moved from various places, when ArcelorMittal bought Mittal Steel bought Arcelor and then collaborated. So they are also the big employers. So between the big corporates, the big fours, accounting firms, the service provider administrators, and the private equity and the UCIT funds, they bring up the people from India, and that would be the opportunity. So I'll stop there, but let Rashmi also cover up a little bit about her experience and what opportunities Luxembourg could also give.
Well, you've pretty much summarized what we have here in Luxembourg, but as a person who has been working here for quite some time in the industry, I can very well say when our president came to Luxembourg last year, he mentioned just one thing, that there is one quality that we chartered accountants have, and that is adaptability and integrity. So if you have that, you can ace most of the financial roles that we have here. Of course, at Amazon, currently I'm with the supply chain operations, but this is something that has been developed over a period of time because I've learned such a wide variety of topics in CA, as our current material is like that. It's very adaptable. So we do have opportunities in Big Fours, whether it's transfer pricing, whether it's taxation, auditing, that all of such kind of opportunities exist, but also from the other side of the industry, Amazon, PayPal, Intertrust, most of the banks, they offer you all kinds of financial analyst analysis and data readability, accessibility, and such kind of roles. So I think there is a lot of opportunities that we can tap into, especially with the AI growing around us. If we ace that, I think we even have a more smarter and a stronger way to tap into the big opportunities that Luxembourg has to offer.
One thing, thank you, Rashmi. One thing also I would like to just give you a perspective. India has always been servicing the globe. And with the more emphasis of the GCCs, the Global Capacity Centers initiative, what our government and our institute is now taking it up, it will create more and more opportunities for our fellow accountants or any finance professionals in India by touching base any global companies. Recently, from the last 6 months, I have seen that there are 6 big other in Luxembourg corporate have opened up their shared service centers in Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore, and the list is growing. So while there could be an intention of people servicing directly by coming up in here and then providing their skill set and the services, but you could already start working towards with the touch point of Luxembourg back home in India. So the opportunities are there onshore, but there are more opportunities coming up in the offshore locations where we see the focus is on export of services while living and staying in India as well. So, but again, that I don't want to discourage that. We do need a lot of good professionals and resources, but India wants to, is the one who would become the servicing country of the world going forward with our GCC initiatives. I hope that answers the question, Vishalji. Yeah.
So, sir has monopoly in the field of audit there, but definitely will like to have competition. So, is English is the language there, sir, in Luxembourg? Regional language or anything?
Right. So our administrative language in Luxembourg is French and German. So those are the 2 official languages of the government and all the regulation. But English is the business language. So Luxembourg professional, anybody who lives in here will always know 4 languages for every ask. But French is more dominated as such. But if you are in this business of providing services, English is the common language that everybody speaks.
Yes, definitely. So business language is English. So that's what the chartered accountant needs.
Correct. But what happens is, like, if you see about the compliance forms, right, like a submission of documents to the company house, anything that needs to be communicated with the regulators or the authorities, they would want to have a little bit of our known French or a German language, which our institute is already providing that upskilling of language courses to our fellow chartered accountants, right? So I would encourage that please take use of that language courses and then see what you could find out a little bit more by having a bilingual between French and English. Then definitely the opportunity doors are widely open. But Rashmi, do you want to share your experience in your corporate world, how it goes around it?
So I share the same feeling. Yes, the regulatory language is French, German, and also Luxembourgish, which is a real language. Business being talked about in so most of the business language that we have here is English. It's an unofficial 4th language, and I have actually seen a boom of how many English speakers have continue to increase since the last 5 years here, which was not a lot before. But it's also something that we all can develop on. Learning French is something that we should actually see to integrate more into the community. And that doesn't mean that not knowing French or German would stop having any opportunities over here, which is not the case. So me being with the Big Four before, yes, English was the business language, was fair. But at the same time, I would want to highlight the fact that something that we were chatting about the other day with Anjanisa here is the introduction of AI. And if we use that smartly, I think we all can be in a win situation, at least from a language perspective. But yes, nevertheless, like English remains to be the 4th unofficial language here in Luxembourg.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. So, sir, you are the chairman of ICI Luxembourg. So, institute is planning any MOU with the Luxembourg government, like we have to pass few papers for practicing in the Luxembourg, any such type of thing?
So we have been, our chapter is in the 5th year of running, And every time, like we try to persuade and move to our Ministry of Higher Education and to the OEC and the ERA board for our recognition. But as of now, because the language criteria are still strict, the regulations are all in there. There is no direct MOUs that is currently being signed. We are working towards it, but it might take a little bit while. But I think it's going into the right direction. Our institute has done an MOU MRA with our Netherlands body. So if Luxembourg is not very far away from Netherlands, so if we are moving to the right directions and the consolidated approach with our ministries of foreign affairs and university education commission in India, along with our present chapter, we would want to get that achieved. And that's so we have a 2-point agenda. Our qualification to get recognized by Luxembourg and also give an opportunity to the local students to pursue our course, which is also very widely accepted throughout the world. So we see, hopefully, in few years, like we might get sooner rather than later an MOU MRA. But as of now, it's not there.
So these summarize the question from the members. There are much more questions, but we have shortage of time. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much. On behalf of everyone present, I extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speakers for sharing such valuable insight on professional ability for chartered accountants in Luxembourg. Your expertise and perspective have truly broadened our understanding and inspired many. We deeply appreciate the time and effort you devoted to this session. Thank you once again for your enriching contribution to this webinar. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
I would like also to thank CP committee for providing me opportunity to join as a moderator, and finally to all our participants, chartered accountant, your enthusiasm and engagement are the true measure of this webinar. The more number you participate, the more we are motivated to organize more and more webinar in the future. So tomorrow is International Yoga Day. So I expect you to do some yoga and enjoy the healthy life. A happy yoga day to all the members and happy weekend. Thank you. Thank you very much. So that's all from now, and we shall meet. I look forward to seeing you, all the members, at future event also. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vishal.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.